12th graders, this is your librarian, Mrs. Russo, and this tutorial is designed to provide a review of when to use in-text citations, how to format in-text citations, and how to create and format a works cited page. We're going to start our review using a resource from OER Commons. And since this is a review, we're going to go directly to the tips section. And of course, we know that whenever you're using information from an outside source, you're going to cite that. And we'll talk a little bit more about the format to use to cite that as we go forward. I want to draw your attention to the section here on synthesizing information. So now that you're in 12th grade, really the purpose of using outside sources is to develop a unique point or perspective. You're not simply stitching together various sources the way you may have done in the past in elementary grades, maybe with a book report. Here what you're trying to do is use outside information in order to advance an original argument. And when you do that, you're going to want to let the reader know where that original information came from. And your in-text citations is going to be the first place you're going to do that. Directly within your text, you're going to indicate that this information came from an outside source, and that's going to refer directly to a works cited page. So the reader can quickly find the information you used in order to generate your work, in order to verify information, or to conduct their own research using the sources you found. In order to format that information, we're going to use a style guide, and we're going to take a look at the Purdue Online Writing Lab. And if you're not already familiar with this source, it's a really fantastic resource for taking the information about the original text and formatting it according to different styles. You're going to use the MLA format in your papers here at Hendrick Hudson. And so we're going to take a look at the MLA formatting and style guide. We're going to start here with in-text citations, the basics. And we're going to look at what information you need to include in your in-text citation. And sometimes it's also called parenthetical citation because the information is going to occur within your text that you have written and then in a parentheses at the end of the sentence. So the information you're going to include is usually the author and the page number. We're going to look at 3 examples here. The first is one in which the writer has included the name of the author within the text. Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by a, quote, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, end quote. Since they've already stated that the author of the text where this direct quotation originated is Wordsworth, they're going to include only the page number in the parentheses at the end. And notice that the period falls outside of the parentheses here. In this next example, the author has chosen to start the statement with romantic poetry is characterized by, and then they've included the direct quotation here. They haven't included the name of the author within the text, so they include the name of the author here at the end in the in-text or the parenthetical citation, followed by the page number. So the reader knows that this quotation can be found in a work by Wordsworth on page 263. In the final example here, and this would be the one that you would most likely use, we've got the writer paraphrasing information from a text by Wordsworth. And they indicate within their statement here that this information comes from a text by Wordsworth, and so they've included only the page number in the parentheses at the end. Now, sometimes you may not have access to the name of the author. And a lot of times, if you're using a website, for example, you may find information you want to use and include in an in-text citation, but not have the name of an author. So we can take a look here at this example. When a source has no author, you can place the title of the section or the short work that you're using directly within the parenthetical citation. So this information here, this direct quotation, is coming from an article entitled Impact of Global Warming. It's put here in parentheses, as it says, or put in quotation marks, as it says here, if it's a short work, such as an article. If it's a longer work, you would put that in italics. For example, books, plays, television shows, or entire websites. So now let's take a look at what your works cited page would look like. And we're going to focus here on electronic sources, just for the purposes of this tutorial, and especially because these are the ones where people tend to have the most questions. So we're going to take a look quickly at citing an entire website. The purpose of including this information is to make it easy for a reader to find your source, to get back to the original source of the information you've included. So, on your works cited page, you're going to include as much information as you can find. And here you can see that we've got the name of a page here, the Purdue OWL family of sites, and then the name of the website, the Writing Lab and OWL at Purdue, right? And then we've got year of publication here, and we've also got the URL, as well as the date on which the information was accessed. Most likely, you'll probably find yourself using a page on a website more often than citing an entire website. And so here, we see two examples of how to do that. Here we've got a fascinating overview on athlete's foot that's found on the website WebMD, and that's put in italics, and then the date it was accessed, as well as the URL. So as you can see here, really what you need to do is focus on the specifics of the style. It's just a format where the quotation marks appear when you use quotation marks as opposed to when you use italics, and you can use these as templates. So you would take your information and you would format it or organize the information in the same way you see it appear here. We're going to take a look at a sample works cited page so you can see what that entire document would look like once you've gone through and included all of your in-text citations. You're then going to alphabetize by last name the different sources you've used. Well, I hope this tutorial has been helpful to you in helping you review how to avoid plagiarism.